Alright, on example 9 it says to solve a right triangle means to find all of its sides and angles. So if I have myself a right triangle, this means that I've got to find all three of the sides and all three of the angles. If I'm going to use trig, the question is, what do you have to know in order to solve a right triangle? There's two possibilities. We're talking about minimum here possible. The first one is maybe I have one side and one angle. If I'm given one side and one angle, like for example this is 10 and this is 15 degrees, I should be able to solve the whole thing. Alright, the second possibility is if I have two sides. So here's this drawn. If I knew that this was 3 and this is 4, we saw this example before, we're able to find the hypotenuse, of course, and those two angles. So this is bare minimum. This is what we need in trig to solve a right triangle. So let's try it on 10. I've got one angle, which is 42 degrees. I got one side 70 feet, and I want to solve this right triangle. So first, let's find this other angle measurement, the other acute angle. Just subtract the 42 from 90. That's 48 degrees. So all the angles are found, it's done. I've got one side. Let's go ahead and still use the 42 degrees. It doesn't matter, we could use the 48. Let's use the one we're given, and let's find the hypotenuse first. I'll call that x. With the 42, that's the adjacent side. X is the hypotenuse. A over h is cosine. So cosine of 42 degrees is equal to adjacent 70 over x. Now, notice that we're not finding an inverse here because we already have the angle. We're finding a side, so this is just regular good old-fashioned cosine. If the variable's on the bottom, the shortcut is to switch it out with a cosine, so x equals 70 divided by the cosine of 42. Which is about 94.2. 94.2. Since this is the hypotenuse, I know that this side is supposed to be bigger than 70, so that number makes sense. Okay, so now let's find what is the opposite side. So still using the 42, I don't want to use this number right here because it's rounded. We want to use the 70 that we're given in the problem, so we're going to use opposite over adjacent, which is the tangent ratio. So the tangent 42 equals the opposite, this time y over 70. When the number's on the bottom, just multiply it across. So y equals 70 times the tangent 42. 70 times tangent 42. It's about 63.0. 63.0. Now again, this one is shorter than the hypotenuse, so that makes sense. Not only that, it's across from the smallest angle, so we know that it should be smaller than 70, so that also makes sense.